Hello, everyone. How are you all doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome into this space today on Tuesday, April 29th. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I appreciate you all for coming into this space and hanging out with me at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. If you are brand spanking new into this space, hello, you are so welcome here. My name is Angel Charmaine. I am the owner of Speak Up Sis LLC. We are an empowerment enterprise. We create spaces and provide opportunities for everyday people to share their stories, their personal and or professional brand stories in order to build resilience, to heal, and to inspire the stories of others. And I'm also the editor in chief of Speak Up Sis magazine. So welcome into the space. This week, we've got just a little bit of like a little mini series that I decided that I was going to come in and talk about. I'll be here for 30 minutes. I tried to get in, say what I need to say, and move on out. If you are one of the subscribers to my page, then you know you have 30 days in order to catch this on replay. If you are not a subscriber, become a subscriber. But if you're not, then you'll definitely need to make sure that you catch these live. Bring your paper and pencil and get in where you fit in, because this will become a subscriber only video at the conclusion of the talk. So today we're going to be talking about the courage to lead without the mask. Oh my goodness. Y'all know I absolutely love talking about the mask. Y'all know that I do. I love talking about the mask. So yesterday we talked about why authentic leadership matters, and we talked about it no longer being optional, that we must at this point live and lead in authenticity, because that is what is required. It's the demand that's put on us as leaders now with this new generation and this new era. People do not want fake. They don't want phony. They don't want faux, FAUX. They want real, true, relevant, raw, honest, authentic leadership. And so we talked about why authentic leadership matters and why it is necessary on yesterday. And so today we're going just a little bit deeper, because it takes courage to lead without a mask. It really does take courage to lead without a mask. And so I want to share just a little bit. Y'all know how I do. I want to share just a little bit with you all on what it means to have the courage to lead without the mask. Okay. Oftentimes masks feel very safe for us, right? They feel safe. It's like if I don't let people in, then they won't hurt me. If I don't share a whole lot of myself, then I can protect myself. So we will show up in leadership guarded. We will show up in leadership covered. We will show up in leadership with these personas that are not real and that are not genuine, because the mask feels safe. The representative feels safe. So it's like, you know what, if they don't like me, at least they are not liking this person, but it ain't me, because you don't know me. We like to say, oh, you don't know me. And so the reason people don't know you is because you don't show up as you. They see your mask, they see the facade, they see the pretend, they see all the extra stuff that you're doing in the world, but they don't actually get to see you. And what I have learned throughout the years, in my 47 years, right? I'll be 48 in June. And as during my time as an entrepreneur and a leader and someone who is a disciplined student of the way, working with women, I have learned that oftentimes the mask is really a defense mechanism. The mask is really a way to protect your own heart. The mask is really a way to say, you know what? In order for me to show up, be well, thrive, do what I need to do, and not end up, depressed or with anxiety or with whatever, I'm just going to I'm gonna show them what I'm gonna show them, and that's it. I'm gonna wear this mask so whatever it is that people don't like, whatever, it doesn't penetrate me. It doesn't penetrate my heart. It doesn't get to me. And that all those walls and all those barriers, y'all, there's a difference between setting boundaries and creating barriers and walls to protect yourself. There is a difference, a big difference, okay? And so the mask oftentimes feel safe. The mask will feel safe. But let me tell you something, they cost you, and the mask will cost you connections. The mask will cost you the genuine and authentic and real connections that you want to make in this world. That barrier, that wall that you put up, it is going to keep you from making the heart connections that you so desire, whether that is connection with a romantic relationship, whether that's familial connections, whether that's friendship connections. The mask is safe, or it feels safe, but I promise you, it will cost you connection in your life. And so if you're going to lead, you're going to have to deal with people, especially if you say that you're a servant leader. If you say you're a servant leader, if you say you're a visionary leader, if you say you're the people's leader, if you are a person who says I'm a believer and Yah and I've been called to the people, but you wear a mask and don't nobody know who you really are, they just know your representative, you are not making the types of connections that actually help to get people free. I'm gonna just sit that right there. I'm gonna sit that right there. Let me go and see who is in the building with me today. Tatanisha, I hope I said your name correctly. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining this. Oh my gosh. Let me give you a cool shout out. I don't even know if you're still here, but you are the very first person who has ever commented on one of these lives from LinkedIn. So shout out to you, sis. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for speaking, because here I am from Georgia. My mama's from Georgia. My daddy people from South Carolina. So I like to say I'm a Georgia Lina girl. And my paternal grandmama used to say, if I ain't sleep with you last night, little girl, when you come in this room, you say good morning. And I ain't sleep with none of y'all last night. So good morning. And so I appreciate when you all come into the space and you give me a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever your greeting is, wherever you are in the world. So thank you so much. Jennifer, hey, my sis, hey, friend. How you doing, beautiful? I miss you. I can't wait till you get back to Georgia. We got some place to go out and eat in ATL. So I miss you, sis. Looking forward to you getting back to Georgia. Hello, Kiki Sharice, the artist. How you doing, beautiful? Greetings to you. Thank you so much for always showing up in the morning. I know that you are working and doing your thing. You probably have us on just kind of listening while you're multitasking. And so I appreciate you for speaking. Thank you so much. So let's go ahead and jump into this. So the first thing we're going to talk about, right, is that wearing the mask, even a leadership mask. So let's go there. Let's go there. You can even wear a leadership mask. Some of you are leading with the leadership mask, and spaces you don't have to lead with that mask. Some of you walk into the door like, I am the leader of whatever, and I am the CEO of, and I am, Dr. Reverend, Pastor, Apostle, Bishop, so and so of another. Of course, I'm being facetious here and I'm exaggerating, but I think there may be some people who literally lead with a leadership mask. You absolutely can. Oftentimes when we think about a mask, we think about people who are just trying to be phony. No, some people wear masks for different reasons. Sometimes people are just trying to cover up who they really are. Sometimes people want to present as who they are not. right? There are so many reasons why people wear a mask. And so wearing a mask, even if your mask is a leadership mask, makes you feel safe, right? It makes you feel safe in this really short term time and space, but it robs you of deeper relationships. It absolutely does. And it robs you of real influence. Here's the thing. There are some people who have large followings, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30,000. They're like, oh, you're a super influencer. But all you're doing is people are watching you because you're wearing pretty clothes and all the things, and they aspire to have all the things that you have. However, none of those people's lives are authentically changed because you are influencing them. That's an issue. That's an issue. I would much rather have 1,000 followers, knowing that that there are 100 people that have actually changed their lives because of the influence the Lord has given me to help them to do what it is that they need to do. I would much rather have a smaller following, but actually positively influence and impact people's lives. Some of you are leading with the mask, and because people are following you, you don't realize the reason they're following you is not because of a real influence that is going to help them transition their lives into something that is meaningful, but they are being influenced for all the wrong reasons. And then you're feeling empty, and you're feeling like these people they're not really connected, and I'm not really feeling this or whatever. And then your work becomes a chore. Why? Because you are not connected to the people who were strategically and divinely created to hear the sound of your voice and listen to you. There are people who are listening to the voice of your masked person. You know how sometimes you can put on a mask and it'll muffle your voice, right? Like those gas masks, because there are different types of masks. You can put on some of those masks and it will alter your voice. Some of you are wearing masks that alter your natural voice. And so the people who are listening, they're like, they were created to hear your voice. But because you're wearing a mask that alters your natural voice, they can't hear you. You're wondering why your people aren't coming, baby, because what you sound like don't sound like what God told them they should be listening to. There's a sound. There's a sound, and some of you are masking your sound. I remember, there have been several times, but I remember a time distinctly when I used to come on and do lives at 7 o'clock in the morning, Monday through Friday. For years, I did this. I remember distinctly a young woman sending me a message, and she was like, I am so glad that I stopped and listened to you today. I need to hear yada yada. She went on and on. But what caught my attention is why she stopped. Like, what caught her attention to stop? Because in her message, she said, I usually don't listen to people on lives. And, it was, how people will write you a whole Dear John letter, right? She wrote me this whole thing. But the thing that really grabbed my attention is she said, I saw you and she said, and your locks I just stopped because they caught my attention. For those of you who don't know, she's called Freedom. I named my hair. My hair is named Freedom. And I semi-freeform, which means I may get a retwist once a year for the awards gala. And after that, I don't do anything with my roots. And so this young woman saw me on camera, no makeup, no nothing, with natty locks, talking about Christ. Listen, the fact that I did not feel the need to be polished, I did not feel the need to be manicured, I didn't have to be all extra to get on here and do what it is that the Lord told me to do. I was not concerned about somebody thinking that I wasn't as important as somebody else because my face ain't beat to the gods and all the other things. A soul was able to see and hear and make the connection she needed to make, to hear what she needed to hear, to get her to this place she needed to be in. I know that's a hard thing. Some of y'all gonna feel some kind of way about it, but I'm telling you, some of you, okay, this is not even supposed to be that kind of space today, Lord. We not, are we gonna, we gonna go there? Oh my goodness. Some of you, your look is off-putting. You look beautiful. Everything is whatever, but it is so it does not allow people to approach you. Some of you are putting on a mask that says, I'm the leader, follow me. And people are like, nah, I'm good on that. Some folks don't even feel like they can approach you. Some folks don't even feel like you want to hear from them. Sometimes you just totally look outside of people's league or whatever. And and listen, the people who will actually rally behind you, the people who will support you, the people who will ride for you, the people who will, like, they're like, I can't even go over there. That space is not for me. And you're sitting at home wondering, like, where are the people? Listen, they can't see you because you're so covered up. And that's not just an outer thing. Sometimes what we say, sometimes I remember my late husband, God rest his soul. I remember him saying one time, we were, I don't know, he probably said something that I ain't like, and we were kind of fussing. We didn't do a lot of fussing with each other. And I'm really not a fusser most of the time. But he must have said something I didn't like. But anyway, I started talking to him and he stopped and he said, you know what? He said, I really don't like when you do that. And I was like, do what? And he said, I don't like when you use your words to when you use your words to hurt. And I was like, what you talking about? He was like, you know what I'm talking about. He was like, you start using words and that, I don't even know what you're talking about. And I know that you're doing that, like, in order to make a point or whatever. And I had to sit with that for a while. And in the moment I was like, whatever. So now you're mad because I have a vocabulary and y'all know how we do. But what I learned is that it was a protection for me. Right? Oh, you think you're gonna win this? I know more words than you. So then I will put on my educated woman face. I will put that mask on. Why? Because no. Instead of allowing myself to be vulnerable, allowing myself to hear and understand and really deal with it. Nope. Listen, whoop, there she is. Now now you're dealing with Miss Wright, the educator, the international educator, just ridiculousness. It's all a mask. And it will keep you from having those deeper relationships that you want. And the relationships that you do have, where the people are supposed to be connected to you, you can't get to the level where you're actually penetrating their hearts or they're being drawn to you. Why? Because you refuse to take that mask off. You refuse to take off that mask. Yes, Jennifer, it is butter cake time, honey. How did you know that's what I was thinking? Good morning, Deborah Jefferson. Thank you, sis, for coming in this morning. Cherise, how you doing? Good morning. Yes, Deborah says the petty committee, honey. Absolutely. Hello, Sarah Queens. Great morning. Thank you so much for popping in this morning. All right. So today, y'all, we are talking about the courage to lead without the mask. This week, I'm doing like a little mini series. Yesterday, we talked about the importance of leading with authenticity. It is not something that you get to choose to do. It really is something that is necessary if you are wanting to make real impact with the people that you lead. And today, we're talking about the courage to lead without the mask, and understanding that there is such a thing as a leadership mask. And sometimes we position ourselves because we want people to esteem us. We don't want people to think like we're lateral. I need you to know this is not a lateral thing. Like, we're not peers. Like, I'm the leader. And so that's not working in this generation. That's not working that's not working in this era. That is not working in this generation. We're going to have to lead with a fresh face. Just this morning, right before coming on here, I was in the Speak Up Sis Awards finalist group. Y'all, I had not tied Freedom down yet. She was doing her thing. I think I had my muumuu on, and I was in there. And some people may feel like, oh my gosh, how are you leading something like this? How are you doing? You're gonna just show up looking like that? Yes, because that's who I am. That's what I look like. This is what I do. This is what I do. How can I talk to you all about being authentic if I'm not willing to show up vulnerable, transparent, and honest? And please know that those are three different things. People use those words interchangeably like they're synonymous, and they're not. True authenticity requires you to show up vulnerable, transparent, and honest. And we can talk about that on another day, because you really need to study those words and understand that they do mean something different, and you can be one and not the others. All right. So here we go. Y'all already know that I'm going to ask you to do some things, right? I want you to, at some point, whether it's today or this week, preferably get it done this week. I want you to identify a fear that makes you hide behind a leadership mask. And I want you to write it down. I want you to confront it. You all already know I wrote a whole journal for y'all. Sit for a minute with you, sis, right? Sit down with you for a minute, sis, and write down a fear that makes you put that leadership mask on. Write it down so that you can confront it. The thing about writing is that writing makes it real. Writing takes the thoughts, it takes what's in your heart, it takes it out of you. And once you put it on paper, or once you verbalize it with your words, you now have made that thing real. And once you make it real, you have to deal with it. So I want you to think about, like, when do I put my leadership mask on? The first thing you got to do is realize that you do wear a leadership mask sometimes, and maybe you don't. But if you do, you need to sit with that and go, okay, when do I put that mask on? I can tell you all, I'll give you an example from myself so you know exactly what I'm talking about. There are spaces that I will go into where I feel like maybe the people in the space, if I'm looking at them, I may start to compare myself like, oh gosh, they're really smart, or they're real business people. They got $1 million or whatever, right? I know I want to be in the room. I know I need to be in the room, but being in the room kind of makes me kind of see or feel like maybe I'm a little inadequate in the space. And so what will happen is I will put on the mask. And so now when I'm speaking to people, I am now going to be using standard American English. My diction is going to be on point. I am going to ensure that, they know that I am an international educator and I have done this and I have tried, and right. And so now, why? Because I have walked into a room where I personally fear that maybe I don't fit in this room. So I'm going to put on my mask that will prove that I do fit in this room. The truth is if I'm in the room, I'm supposed to be in the room, and I don't have to pretend that I'm supposed to be in the room, because the truth is I'm in the room. If the door opened and I was allowed to enter, sit down, and have conversations, I don't have to prove my worth to be in that room. So there's no need for me to put the mask on. I can show up and be myself. You know why? Because if the Lord allowed me to enter into that room to sit down and build relationships, not only am I supposed to be learning in that room and gleaning in that room, But maybe there are people in that room who need to see what it looks like to lead with authenticity. Maybe these $1,000,000 people and these $1 billion people need to see what it looks like to be a startup again, and to see the passion and the fire and all the things, because sometimes you can get to a level where you forget that. Maybe my presence, being myself, being happy about being myself, and learning and gleaning as Angel Charmaine, maybe I'm supposed to do that to positively impact the people who are on another level, to remind them. Who knows what God wants you to do? But you will not do that if you're afraid to show up authentically without the mask. So I just wanted to give you an example of what I mean by thinking of a time when you will put on that leadership mask, right, and hide behind it. I want you to write it down. Just write one, identify one fear, write it down, and then confront it, deal with it. You will never deal with what you're not willing to actually confront. Okay? All right, I'm looking over here in the comments just to make sure I'm not missing any questions or anything like that. All right, the second thing that I want to say to you all today is that perfection is the enemy of progress. Perfection is the enemy of progress. Waiting until you're perfect before you lead or share or act keeps you stuck. Progress comes from showing up imperfectly, but showing up consistently. You do not have to be perfect. This morning in the Resilient Authors group, I was saying to them, like, when you're in your comfortable zone, you all are in here, you're relaxed, you let your hair down, you're talking about all these wonderful things. And then when you get in front of people, you put a mask on, you pretend. No, come out here just as confidently, come out here just as boldly, right? You don't have to be perfect. You just simply need to be consistent. If you look at all of these social media platforms, you got folks that show up on camera with a bonnet, with a dirty kitchen and dirty floors, and don't care. But they show up every single day with that bonnet, that dirty kitchen, them dirty floors, telling their story. They show up every day in that bonnet with that dirty kitchen, them dirty floors, telling their story. They show up, and by the time within a year, they got a whole following of people who also wear bonnets, have dirty kitchens, dirty floors. Why? Because they are mamas who are tired, who don't have time, who run around with kids. They have connected with an entire group of people who are looking for someone to give them the permission to just simply show up. So did the person were they perfect? Did they look perfect? Was everything perfect? No, but they were consistent. And because they were consistent, because they were vulnerable, transparent, and honest, the people who were connected to the sound of their voice showed up. And then you're sitting back going, oh, why is it that people are following these people? I don't even understand. I edit all of my videos. My house is clean and everything. And I just don't understand why people are just following all of this foolishness. No, people are following what you consider foolishness is because those people see that those folks are real. They're truthful. They're honest. They're transparent. They can relate to that. They're human. Baby, you don't look human to some people. You showing up so perfectly, you don't look attainable. You don't. People are following you because they're like, oh, that's good. That looks good on you. But I can't do that. I'm not saying to you all that you should not operate in a spirit of excellence. That's not what I'm saying. But we mistake and sometimes intertwine excellence and perfection. They're not the same. They're not the same. You're being excellently perfected. As long as you live in this earth, you will never be perfect, but you are continuously being perfected. You can operate in progress, right? You can progress excellently, which means you're not falling backwards all the time, which means you're learning from mistakes, which means you're eating up failure like good cake until you become successful. You can be excellent at progressing. But being excellent and being perfect, they are not the same thing. I encourage you to show up with a spirit of excellence as you progress. Get better over time. Be excellent at getting better over time. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Hey Rachel, how you doing, sis? Consistency over perfection. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for popping in here and talking with us, right? Here we go. Sometime this week, I want you to share something that is still in process instead of waiting until it is finished. For those of you who are writing your books, some of y'all are, let me tell you, the hardest part of writing a book is marketing and promoting. It is not the writing. Just let me say that. For those of you who have never written a book, or those of you who are in the process of writing a book, you may think that writing the book is the hardest part. It's not. It is marketing and promoting that book, getting people to know that your book is good enough to spend their money on and then to read it. That's hard. That is very difficult. And many people are waiting to get to this place where they are perfectly finished, perfectly finished to share. But let me tell you something. The smart people, the people who get it, understand that people buy into your process. So when you show up saying, y'all, I am writing this book, I am nowhere near finished, but I just kind of wanted to, like, I'm just going to share just a little bit of what I'm working on because I'm not really sure. What do y'all think? People want to be involved with the process. People want to see how you working it out. You know why? Because it lets them know that it's possible. Not only that, people get wrapped up into who you are. They're like, and then they feel good. They feel like it's their success. So when you let people in on the process, on the progress that you're making, even though it'll be imperfect, right? But when you let them in, when you finally release it, when you finally do it, they feel like they wrote a book. They're like, oh my gosh, you finished. You finished. Oh my God, I can't wait to read it. You will not have to worry about people buying your book if you let them in on the process and the progress of the book. So by the time you finish, they already want to buy the book. You already built a community and you didn't even try. But if you don't do that, if it has to be perfect before you do anything, then you're going to find yourself putting on a mask and pretending that you're greater than you actually are. I'm just saying. Some of us are greater in our heads than we actually are. So you're going to find yourself putting out a book, and now you're going to have to find all these things to prove that you are great. You listen, having a best-selling book is great. It's great. But you can have the title of best-selling and still not be really selling a lot of books versus someone who may not have that title, but people who are all the time purchasing the book. Why? Because they have built a community of people, because they have watched them in the journey. They watched them from book 1 all the way to book 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 10. And they are committed to this process with this person. So sometime this week, I want you to share something with your community, share something on your social, something that is in the process of happening, right? Instead of waiting until that thing is finished. I'm not saying give away your proprietary ideas. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying give away the sauce for what it is that you're doing. What I'm saying is allowing people to see that you're working on something, that you're in the process of it, and that it's a little messy in the process, but you just love what you're doing. People eat that up. They love it because they see like, oh, you're like, yeah, I can get with that. I understand that. I can see myself in that. Rachel, don't you start. You come in here talk about it. See, you gonna make people not want to come back up in here. Every time Rachel come in, she be like, ooh, you got me in my hip. You got me in my side. You're on my toes, sis. Oh, my goodness. All right. And we're at 34 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap because I told y'all I'm not keeping y'all any more than 30. I always give myself a little 5-minute window because I spend some time introducing myself at the beginning. So I'm going to grab my introduction time back to finish this up. Like I said, if you are a subscriber to my page, it is $1.99 a month. You have access to these recordings for 30 days. After this is done, it will be a subscriber only video. So that's why I tell you have to get here at 11. Bring your notes and all your things. If you're not going to be a subscriber, okay? All right. The third and the last point that I want to make today is that vulnerability must be intentional, not accidental. Let me tell y'all this. When you are accidentally vulnerable, you're really going to get hurt. Just let me say, when you step into vulnerability as an accident, it wasn't intentional. It wasn't purposeful. It's not something that you really wanted to happen. You know what that looks like to other people? They see it as you what they call it, what do they call it, you switching up. Oh, you switching up now? Oh, you yeah, you know why? Because you ain't been doing that, and you didn't even mean to do that. Sometimes when you get fed up, you just you just show up one day and I don't care what nobody say. I ain't putting on no makeup. I ain't doing nothing. I'm just gonna go out. And then everybody looking at you like, you okay? You need to go to the doctor. You need some medical something. And you're like, why can't I just be myself? Right? It was accidental. You got fed up. Things happen. You came out of character. Right? You took your mask off for just a moment so that you can breathe. It was not intentional or purposeful. It was just kind of accidental. And now you got to clean it up because now you got to hurry and put the mask back on, right? So you can continue. No, you need to be intentional about your vulnerability. Be intentional about it. Know why you are doing it. Know where you are going. Don't just accidentally do it. I always say, even when it comes to sharing, yes, I'm the Speak Up Sis lady. Yes, I'm the lady who's going to say, share your story to inspire others. Yes, that is Angel Charmaine. But I also say, share your story as it is aligned with your purpose. I am intentional about what I share. I am intentional about how I show up. I am intentional about those things. I'm not just haphazard about how I'm showing up. No, I'm going to be real. I'm going to be raw. I'm going to be relevant. I'm going to be all the things, but I am intentional about it. When I walk into rooms, I know, okay, Lord, I know you're sending me on assignment in here for some reason. So I want to ensure that I'm not going in here with a facade. I want to make sure I'm not pretending. I want to make sure my heart is postured properly so that whatever you want for me to do in this room, whomever I'm supposed to meet, whether they need to impact me or whether I need to impact them or whether it's going to be reciprocal, Lord, I want to make sure that I am postured properly for that. So I'm intentional about how I'm going to show up. Even when it comes to my clothing, I'm intentional. There are places I go and the Lord will say, okay, you need to wear this or wear that, or don't wear that, or don't wear that. Why? Because I'm intentional about how I show up, even in vulnerability. It should not be accidental. Authentic vulnerability is a leadership skill. It's not just something that you just happenstance. No, it is not random. It is not reckless. It is thoughtful, and it is designed to build trust. It is designed to build trust. Me coming into this space, looking the way that I look, doing the things that I do, moving the way that I move, it is intentional, y'all. Because I know who I am. I know what I've been called to do. I know the people with whom I'm supposed to talk to. And the Lord has already allowed me to see, like, this right here is what they need to hear. So this is how you're going to need to show up. And let me say this sometimes. Let me say this. Sometimes I don't always want to show up that way. Sometimes I'm like, Lord, do they need to see this? Like, come on. It's like, yes, there's a reason for you to show up that way. I remember the very first paid speaking I reference this because it's one of those core memory things. And the very first paid speaking engagement that I had once I resigned from my career back in 2018, the speaking event was actually in 2019. I remember I had been on a 40-day fast. I was in the midst of the 40-day fast, a water fast, and I was asked to come speak at this graduation. I said yes. They were paying me. I was like, great, because I did not have a traditional job, so I did not have money coming in. So I was excited that I was getting paid for this speaking event, this speaking opportunity. And I remember distinctly, I went to Macy's to get something, because y'all know me, I don't do flashy. So I was like, let me go get something so I could look nice. I was going to be in Atlanta. Y'all already know there's so much pretentiousness in Atlanta. Everybody comes looking extra glamorous. So I was like, let me get something. When I went to get something to wear, the Spirit of the Lord told me what to get. I was like, no, nope, don't get that. One day I may show y'all a picture of what I look like. I didn't have no makeup on, y'all. She was not all manicured. I had this little polka dot jumpsuit on with these little kitten heels, y'all. I remember the Lord saying to me, you need to look different. They're expecting you to look like them, but I want you to look like you. And when I got there, one of the ladies who was, part of the committee or whatever, she didn't know who the speaker was. She had never met me or anything like that. The lady who invited me, she knew who I was and she knew I was there. And so the lady, the lady had spoken to me, but she kind of like, she kind of pushed me off a little bit, like I'm busy, go sit somewhere, pauper. She didn't realize I was a speaker. So I was like, okay, I just sat down. And so then when the other lady came to her who knew who I was, she was like, the other lady said, where's the speaker? Is she here? And so then the woman, she kind of looks and she goes, yes, this is Angel Charmaine. She's our speaker. So then the lady looks at me like, oh, hi, right? Because she already done, she already done shooed me off. And when I tell you, the Spirit of the Lord showed up so mightily at that event. I made so many connections at that event, people who are still connected to me to this day. And it's because the Lord was very intentional about how I showed up, about being vulnerable, about not having my face beat, not having my hair laid, not having on fancy stuff, but showing up just as Angel Charmaine to simply say what it is that he would have me to say that day. I'm not saying that has to be the way every time. What I'm saying is your vulnerability should be intentional and not accidental. It should not be random. Okay. So with that, everybody, I am going to wrap for today because we are now at 42 minutes and I want to get up out of here and I want to be respectful of your time because I told y'all 30 minutes and we're going to be done. So I just need y'all to know that leading with vulnerability is brave work, y'all. It is the hard work of heart work. Leading without that mask, it is brave work. And you're fit for it. Scripture says, like when Joshua was going into Canaan, right? The Lord said, be strong and very courageous. He told him, be strong and very courageous. Be strong and very courageous. Anytime he instructed any leader to go do something that should have scared them silly, the first thing was be strong and very courageous. And what I'm telling you is that taking off that mask, taking off that leadership mask, it is brave heart work. And you can do it. So I encourage you, take off the mask. Let the people see you. Thank you all so much for doing the hard work, for showing up as you. We want to meet you. We want to meet the real you, the authentic you. And so I'll be right back here with you all on tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So let's keep growing together. If you found value in this, please leave me a comment, say something in the chat. I would greatly appreciate it. Invite a friend tomorrow to come and chit chat. We're going to continue. Let me see. Tomorrow, Wednesday, we're going to be talking about authenticity versus oversharing. Authenticity versus oversharing, and knowing the difference, knowing the line. You know how you used to say, I'm gonna draw a line in the sand and don't cross over it. There's a difference between being authentic and oversharing. And we're going to talk about that tomorrow. So come on back tomorrow. I'll see y'all at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Take care. Okay. Thank you, Kiki. I see you. She said, good word. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your time.